Am I overreacting because he followed a girl? My boyfriend and I have been together for 6 months, but something happened a couple of months ago that really shook me. He made a comment to one of my friends about another girl, saying, "Not gonna lie, her body is perfect." Given my own struggles with body image and an eating disorder, hearing that from someone I care about was incredibly painful. I felt shattered. He apologized, and I tried to move past it because I didn't want to hold a grudge. But recently I noticed he started following her again on Instagram after he had unfollowed her when this first happened. When I confronted him, his excuse was, "I followed her because I was mad at you." I can't wrap my head around why he would do something that he knows hurts me, especially when I've been clear about my insecurities. I feel so betrayed, but now I'm questioning myself. Am I overreacting for feeling this way?
Exhausted from being in love. I've been dating my boyfriend for 5 months, and at first I thought we were perfect for each other. But lately his schedule has become so packed that I barely see him. We used to have long calls every night and see each other all the time, but now we barely talk for more than a few minutes a day. I know he's busy with his studies and his big aspirations, but it feels like I'm no longer a priority. I'm trying not to be needy, so I told him to focus on school. But deep down, I'm hurt. I cried for days when his messages became so infrequent. I love him, but it's exhausting. I don't want to come second to his studies, and I don't want to feel like this anymore. Is it selfish to want more of his time, or am I asking for too much?
Fiancé's parents do not approve of our relationship. My fiancé and I recently got engaged after being together for years. The only problem is, his parents don't approve of our relationship because we come from different cultural and religious backgrounds. His mom has refused to acknowledge our relationship for years, and even now that we're engaged, she's still in denial. His dad is a little more accepting, but it's been a struggle. My fiancé stood up for me and put his foot down, but I can't help feeling hurt by the way his family treats me. I know he loves me, and I love him, but navigating this family dynamic is hard. How do we move forward when his parents refuse to accept me?
I found out my boyfriend still uses Tinder. I met my boyfriend on Tinder 5 months ago, and about a month ago, we agreed to be exclusive. Recently, while using his phone for directions, I noticed Tinder was still listed in his suggested apps. It stung seeing it there, knowing he was still using it. When I confronted him, he apologized and deleted his account right in front of me. He said he used the app to look at photos and get an ego boost, but wasn't talking to anyone. He was honest and seemed genuinely sorry, but I can't shake the feeling that maybe he's still looking for something or someone better. I know relationships are about trust, but it's hard not to wonder if I'm just a placeholder until he finds someone else. Am I overreacting to a simple, harmless habit, or is it okay to feel this hurt?
Loneliness in a relationship with an introvert. I've been dating my boyfriend for 7 months, and while we're generally happy, I've started feeling really lonely. He's an introvert, and while I respect his need for space, sometimes he pulls away and acts cold. We've talked about moving forward slowly, but every now and then, he shuts down and distances himself from me. Recently, he's been on a trip with friends, and our communication has dropped off almost entirely. I understand that he needs time to recharge, but I can't help feeling isolated. I want this relationship to work, but I'm struggling with the emotional distance. What should I do?
My best friend's dad told me to choose wisely. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years, and I know he's going to propose soon. We've had ups and downs, but we always choose to work through them. Recently, though, we've been arguing a lot, and I've started wondering if we're truly compatible. At my best friend's wedding, her dad had a long conversation with my boyfriend. Later, he pulled me aside and told me to choose wisely when it came to my relationship. He barely knows him, so his comment took me by surprise, but it made me think, am I missing something? Am I settling just because I'm comfortable? I love my boyfriend, but I can't shake the doubts that are growing stronger as we plan our future together. Am I overthinking this, or should I pay attention to the warning signs?
My boyfriend gets upset about most things. My boyfriend and I have been together for a few months, and while we get along great most of the time, he gets upset over the smallest things. If we're slightly late to something or if plans change last minute, his whole mood shifts. He doesn't yell or raise his voice, but I can tell he's upset. When we talk about it later, he'll explain why he got frustrated, but it's always over something minor. It's starting to wear on me, and I'm wondering if this is something we can work through or if it's just his personality. I don't want our relationship to end, but I also don't want to feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells. How can we fix this?
My girlfriend's habits are concerning. I love my girlfriend, but her drinking habits have started to worry me. She drinks every day, not to the point of getting drunk, but it's a constant thing. She also goes out partying a lot, and sometimes she skips dinner to keep drinking. I've tried talking to her about it, encouraging her to develop healthier habits, but nothing seems to change. It feels like she prioritizes drinking and partying over spending time with me, and I'm worried about the impact this could have on her health. I don't know what to do anymore. I want to help her, but I feel powerless. How can I approach this without pushing her away?
My wife thinks I'm a ball and chain. I've recently been diagnosed with degenerative disc disorder, and at 25 it's been tough. I've had to go through painful treatments, and while I'm doing my best to stay active, it's not easy. Yesterday, after running a few errands with my wife, I was feeling pretty worn out, so I decided to stay home while she went out with friends. She was frustrated and said, "I'm tired of being chained to the house because you're always in pain." It hurt more than I can describe. We've been together for almost 8 years, and this is the first serious health issue I've had. I know she's frustrated, but I can't help feeling like I'm a burden to her now. I love her and don't want her to feel this way, but what can I do to make things better?
Need advice about a super defensive partner. My partner and I have been together for 7 years and we have a baby together. She's an amazing person, but we struggle with communication. Whenever I ask her a simple question, she takes it as a critique. If I ask, "Did you buy milk?" she'll hear, "Why didn't you buy milk?" It's exhausting because everything I say seems to trigger a defensive reaction, and I don't know how to get through to her. I've suggested therapy, but she's not interested. I love her and want to work this out, but I'm at my wit's end. How do I approach this without making her feel like I'm criticizing her even more?
How to know if my boyfriend is the one. I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years and he's incredibly sweet and caring. He's my best friend, and I know he loves me, but lately I've been having doubts. Unlike past relationships where I felt intense passion, my feelings for him have been steady but not overwhelming. I wonder if I'm settling or if this is what a stable, healthy relationship looks like. He's talking about moving in together and getting married, and while I should be excited, I feel anxious. Is this hesitation a sign that he's not the one, or am I just overthinking?
Feeling heartbroken my boyfriend doesn't love Maine. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years, but he's still not comfortable saying I love you. We've talked about it, and he says he's afraid of feeling vulnerable, but it's hard for me to accept. I've been waiting for him to open up, but it feels like he's holding back. It's heartbreaking to be in a relationship where I'm unsure if he'll ever feel the same way I do. I want to be with him, but I also want to feel loved in return. Should I wait, or is it time to move on?
My boyfriend has unpredictable behaviors. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and while things are usually great, he has unpredictable moods. Sometimes he says he doesn't want to be in a relationship, only to change his mind a few hours later. He's told me that he's lost feelings, but then he'll call me later, acting like everything's fine. It's confusing and I don't know how to handle it. I love him, but his behavior is wearing me down. Is this just who he is, or is something deeper going on? I'm struggling to figure out how to move forward.
I feel like I'm losing my marriage. My wife doesn't see me anymore. I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but here I am, hoping that someone can help me make sense of what's happening. My wife and I have been together for 12 years, married for 8. We met in our early 20s and had that whirlwind romance everyone dreams about, full of passion, excitement, and dreams of a future we were so eager to build together. The first few years were amazing. We did everything together. Weekends were filled with spontaneous adventures, date nights, and just spending time talking about anything and everything. We were best friends, partners, lovers, everything a marriage should be. But slowly, over the years, things changed, and I feel like I'm the only one who notices.
At some point, it's like we stopped seeing each other as partners and started living parallel lives. We got busy work, bills, and all the daily responsibilities that pile up. I work a demanding job and she does too, but I always made it a point to find time for her, for us. But now, no matter what I do, she just doesn't seem to care anymore. It started small. She'd come home from work and instead of greeting me with a kiss or asking about my day, she'd go straight to the couch, turn on Netflix, and zone out. I didn't think much of it at first. Everyone needs their downtime. But it became routine. Days turned into weeks, then months, and the space between us just grew. Conversations felt forced, like we were just going through the motions. The spark was gone. I tried to bring it up a few times. I'd say, hey, I miss us. I miss the way things used to be. She'd brush it off, telling me I was overthinking it. We're just comfortable now, she'd say. This is what happens when you've been married for years. It's normal. But it didn't feel normal to me. It felt like we were losing something precious, something worth fighting for, and she couldn't, or wouldn't, see it. About a year ago, things took a turn for the worse. She started working longer hours, going out with friends more often, and leaving me behind. I was happy she was making time for herself, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't part of her life anymore. When she'd get home late, I'd ask about her night and I'd get one-word answers or nothing at all. She was slipping away from me, and no matter what I did, I couldn't stop it. I decided to take action. I started planning date nights, weekend getaways, anything to remind her of the connection we once had. But every time I suggested something, she'd find an excuse. I'm too tired. Work has been crazy, maybe next weekend, and next weekend never came. We started fighting more. Not screaming matches, but those cold, quiet arguments where no one wins and both people leave feeling even more distant. I'd tell her how lonely I was, how I needed her to make an effort, and she'd accuse me of being too needy, too demanding. It hurt, but I kept trying because I believed we could fix it, because I love her. The worst part, she stopped showing me any affection. No hugs, no kisses, nothing. We used to cuddle on the couch or hold hands when we walked. Now it feels like we're strangers living in the same house. The physical side of our relationship has disappeared completely, and I can't remember the last time she even looked at me like she wanted to be close to me. It's been almost a year since we were intimate, and every time I try to talk about it, she gets defensive. She tells me she's stressed or tired, but I don't believe that's the whole truth. I feel like she's checked out of our marriage emotionally, and I have no idea how to get her back. There have been moments where I've wondered if there's someone else, someone she's confiding in or finding comfort with, but I can't bring myself to ask. I don't want to accuse her of something that might not be true, and I'm terrified of what the answer could be if it is. It's not like her to cheat, and I have no proof, but the doubt is always in the back of my mind. Is that why she's distant? Is that why she doesn't touch me anymore? I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, constantly trying to please her, to make her notice me, but nothing works. It's exhausting. Every day I feel more invisible. She goes about her life and I'm just there like a piece of furniture she no longer finds useful. I've thought about leaving, about what my life would look like if I just walked away, but I can't. I made a vow and I love her, even if she doesn't seem to love me back the same way anymore. I want to fight for our marriage, but it feels like I'm the only one in the ring. She doesn't seem interested in fixing anything, and I don't know how long I can keep doing this. I've even suggested counseling, but she shut that down immediately, saying we don't need it. But I think we do. I think we desperately need help before there's nothing left to save. I miss her. I miss the woman I fell in love with, the woman who used to look at me like I was her world. I miss the connection we used to have, the laughter, the shared dreams. Now, I don't even know what her dreams are anymore. Every night I lie awake wondering where we went wrong. I replay conversations in my head trying to figure out when the distance started, but there's no clear moment. It just happened, and I can't figure out how to bridge the gap. I feel like I'm losing my wife, losing my marriage, and I don't know how to stop it. I don't know if it's too late. I don't know if she even wants to try anymore. All I know is that I'm hurting, and I feel more alone than ever before. Is this just a rough patch that all couples go through? Or is this the beginning of the end? I don't know, but I'm scared to find out. I'm scared of losing her for good, but I'm even more scared that I already have.